Hello and welcome to this 5th tutorial video on how to make a ragdoll body. This tutorial should help you whether you are using our pattern and instructions alongside one of our kits where the fabrics are supplied, or whether you are using your own recycled fabrics. We're ready now to stuff our doll and really see it start to take shape. All of our body parts are sewn together and we're going to use approximately 160 grams of super polyfiber if you're using one of our kits. That's the super polyfiber that comes with your kit. If you're using a recycled filling, as we are on this project, this is the stuffing from the inside of the cushion we took apart. You'll have to play it by ear because different stuffings weigh differently. In that, some are denser, so you're going to need more stuffing by weight to fill the same volume of space. Just play it by ear. One rule that doesn't change from stuffing to stuffing, and one mistake that people commonly make, is that you're going to need to use about half of the stuffing for your entire project in the head. The head has to be really densely packed. There are 4 darts on our doll's face and that will give her a beautiful head shape, but we have to make sure that, having washed our fabric, having made sure our darts are too angular, that we don't make the commonest mistake, which is to understuff this head. So just keep pushing that stuffing in there. It's really hard to imagine that half of the stuffing is going to go in here, but it really will. Keep forcing the stuffing into the nose, keep forcing it into the cheeks and the chin. The second densest stuffing areas will be the neck and the body, and that's because they need to hold the head up, so they're not as densely packed by any means as the head, but they're still pretty stuffed. And then the feet, because the feet need to have a good solid shape so that they can hold the shoes. The rest of the doll, the arms and the legs, are very lightly stuffed, and you want them to be lightly stuffed because you're going to want to be able to bend them. So at the elbows and the knees there needs to be no stuffing at all, and you'll do that by forcing the stuffing apart. I'll show you that when we get to that. But these areas here, the chin section and all of these dart areas on the nose, those are the areas you need to concentrate on. Keep pushing that stuffing in, keep curving your fingers around into those areas, and keep forcing the stuffing into the darts. As I say, a good half of your stuffing is going to go into this area, so I'm not going to make you watch while I finish it off. Just know that every time you think you've put enough stuffing in, keep feeling those areas, see if there are any soft parts, if there's a bubble of air in the nose, and just keep stuffing. I've taken my time to make sure that the head is nicely stuffed, and you can see from the head shape she's got a nice little chin. She's got her cheeks, her nose is nicely stuffed, her neck is stuffed enough that it's going to hold the head up, and now we're going to go in and stuff the body through the same opening in the back. And we're going to make sure on this one that we go right down into the hips to give her a good solid base. Her body is made up of 3 parts, a body front and 2 body backs, and that gives us a little seat that she will sit up nicely. And then we go up into the shoulders, because if the shoulders aren't stuffed, she won't fill her dress out nicely. And of course your doll might be a boy and you might be making a completely different outfit. As it is, I'm already getting excited about the outfit we're going to make for this doll in our next tutorial series. So keep pushing that up to the shoulders. Make sure you've matched it up to the stuffing in the neck, up to the other shoulder here, and right down into the hips and the bottom. And once you've filled this body, I'm going to pull the sides in at the back, and then we'll just give her a little pinch test. Just make sure that there are no empty parts. And we're going to leave the back open anyway. I'm going to just push this down into the bottom a little bit more and probably fit a little bit more in. We're going to leave the back open so that once we've stuffed the arms here at the opening on the arm, we can come back and rearrange this stuffing a little bit if we want. Now on the hand, I'm going to make sure I've taken a small piece of stuffing and I'm going to stuff the thumb first of all, because it's very easy to have an empty thumb, and although it doesn't really matter, it's nice to know you've got stuffing into all parts of the body. So I'm going to see if I can find something that I can push this stuffing right into the thumb with, and something like a chopstick, or in my case a pen, the end of a pen. Make sure it is the wrong end of the pen, otherwise you might make a hole, and push the stuffing right into the thumb. And then you can, if you want to, come back when your doll is complete and do 3 little rows of stitches to indicate the fingers. I don't normally bother, it can make the hand a little bit wide, but it's another little additional option if you want to. And the arms and the legs are the least stuffed parts of the body. When we come back later, we're going to be pinching at the elbows and the knees and wriggling to push the stuffing aside so that we can make the front and the back fabrics meet with no stuffing in between them at all. Here we go in on the leg. Now the foot needs to be firmly enough stuffed, like the body, for support, and in this case it's supporting the shoe. So a little bit of extra stuffing in the foot to make sure it's a nice firm foot that will hold the shoe. Otherwise, if there's no stuffing in there, your shoe's just going to drop off. Keep pushing that in. And then very little stuffing in the legs. Make sure it's gone right to the end of the toes. Of course, most of the time these arms and legs are going to be clothed in something. Most of our dolls have trousers or bloomers or a skirt that's covering them, and they take no weight at all on the legs and the arms, so you need very little in there really. And right up to the top. And as I said, we'll stuff the back, the arms and the legs. We'll leave all of those open and then go away, switch the kettle on, have a cup of tea, come back and feel them all. Make sure they're even and make sure you're happy with them. As long as you've got the head right, you can rearrange everything else. And then we're obviously going to repeat that on the other side with the other arm and leg. Once you're happy with how your doll is stuffed, then we're going to close these openings and we're going to use ladder stitch. We do have a separate tutorial video on how to do ladder stitch, and I'll put a link in the description and also hopefully one in the video here that you can follow. And thanks to the magic that is YouTube, click on the link and it should take you to our tutorial video for a refresher on how to do ladder stitch. Hopefully. We're happy with how our doll's stuffed, so with a double thickness of thread with no knot tied in the end, we're going to locate an elbow, and using our thumb and finger we're going to wriggle at this elbow point until we feel the front and the back pieces of fabric meet with no stuffing in between. Then we're going to go in through the side, out at the middle point of the elbow and pull the thread so it just disappears inside, and then we're going to make a little stitch just to knot it, pass that through the loop and pull it tight, and then we're going to go backwards and forwards through this point to make a simple cross. Just 2 main stitches really is all you need, and that will just hold the fabric together there so it never really fills up with stuffing, and that will give a nice flexible elbow to your doll. Just a couple of stitches, and they only have to be tiny, possibly 2 or 3 millimeters is all you really need, just to hold the fabric at the front of the arm and the back of the arm together. And then when you've done, I'm going to bring the thread back through to the front, keeping it in that central point. I'm going to make a loop. My thread's a bit tangly here, so make sure it doesn't knot up where you don't want it to, and pull it tight. And then I'm going to go back into the same point and out through the side, pull it tight and snip it so that the threads disappear inside, and that will give you a nice flexible elbow. We'll repeat that on the other arm, and then on both knees at this point where the legs shape in. Technically your doll is together and finished. We've just got to put on the face and the hair, but I found these trims that I've salvaged over the years, and I thought it might be nice, because of the contrasting body, to add a bit of trim to the legs and maybe across the middle here to give a vest and pants effect. We could put a bit around the neck, a bit on the arms. Design wise there are no rules, so they're in on to break. I think that really works. In our next tutorial video we're going to have a look at how to add the nose, how to insert the eyes, how to add the mouth, and how to do several different hairstyles. We'll also take a look at painted faces. That concludes our tutorial video. I hope it's been helpful. If it has, please subscribe to the channel, give us some feedback and a like. There are more videos coming soon.